I'm Cam Starr. I'm the founder of Digital Shoreditch and PlayGen. I started in computing quite early on. I sold my first piece of software in 1986 when I was only 12 years old. From then I went on to do architecture. From architecture I went into the games industry. From the games industry I went back into architecture. And in 2001 I founded PlayGen, the games company. I spent a couple of years working at night whilst I had a full-time job. In 2003 went full-time with it, and in 2010 started Digital Shoreditch. Digital Shoreditch came about because I have a history of doing things like this. So in the 80s, late 90s, I did the Amiga Artists Club, then I did London 3D, and I wanted to do something in Shoreditch for a long time because I've been in the area since the late 90s. And it came about really as a desire to see who was around, to be able to recognize people walking down the street, to be able to remove these barriers, these walls that contain us, and to get the people out. In 2010, I commissioned a researcher to find out who was around within a sort of a 15-minute walking distance of where I was sitting, which is just off Shoreditch High Street. She came back with about 300 companies. I reviewed the companies, and there were extraordinary people in amongst them, some of the most highly decorated creative agencies that I've seen worldwide. Based on that, I called an initial gathering a forum. We started as a forum, as a monthly forum where people can come and discuss and talk about what it is they wanted. And it's very much about the community. It is a ground up, it's what the people want. They wanted a festival. We had our first festival in 2011. What Digital Shoreditch organised was a week worth of events by lots of different people, much in the same way as Social Media Week or Internet Week is done. What we did was one major event, which was a summit, which just had 300 people in it. Scaled to 2012, and we had 10 days of content. We had some 10,000 people take part across the events that we did and the events that our partners put on. And in 2013, we had over 500 speakers over a whole week of events and an extra week added on for the community events, and we estimate around 15,000 people took part. Really, the purpose behind Digital Shoreditch is a way for people of all sorts, whether they're creative, whether they're very technical, whether they're entrepreneurial, that broad church, bringing all of these different communities together, creating events around the things that we care about collectively, and really trying to do things that other people haven't done yet. And I think that's the real challenge for us going into the future. So the £1 Million Startup is a competition which, for one startup to win £1 million, there are 1 million startup competitions around the world, but there's only one that's going to give you £1 million. And why do we give them £1 million? Well, it's not just £1 million, but it's with the idea that with our support, with the support of all the partners who are involved, folks like the City of London, KPMG, the City University, PlayGen, and everyone else that's around it, we're going to help propel them to become a £100 million business. It's a global competition, and it's so far garnered applications from 49 countries. So these are people who have high growth businesses who want to move to London, and we want to really open our arms. We want to democratize this notion that you can grow. We want to catalyze people's thinking about how could they become a £100 million business, how could they grow from their 3, 5 or 50 to be employing 1,000 people, perhaps even more, and to give the support for all the people, whether they're winners or not, to help them improve and increase productivity and basically do really awesome stuff. I think that the real challenge for Digital Shoreditch is to stay relevant. It is a community directed, it's a very much a crowdsourced entity. The content is crowdsourced, it's crowd voted, we listen to the community, we see what it is that they want. And that's the real challenge for us going into the future. How do we stay relevant? When we started Digital Shoreditch, there was only Minibar was the only other monthly event that was happening. Today, if you're in Shoreditch, if you're in sort of so-called tech city, there's 3 events happening each day, 2 happening each night. There are thousands of events happening over a year just in this space. So in a place where there are now hundreds of events, where there was none, how does an large event stay relevant? So we found some relevance in being able to create the world's largest startup competition, the £1 Million Startup. But as we go forward, we're really looking to see what it is that the community wants. How can we bring people together, whether it's through a directory, whether it's through door-to-door, seeing people and talking to them, whether it's some way of getting people together or some catalyst to get them to think or work together. We'll see. We have to respond to the community. That's what it's all about.